Hi everyone. Here is another Rolling Stone list, the 100 greatest metal albums of all time. Now I wouldn't say I'm a big metal fan, but I like some of the music, depending. So it's just going to be interesting if I've heard any of these albums. And I know I had a recent comment for one of my lists. It was for the 20 disappointing albums by great artists. And I'd only heard maybe half of them. And so one of the viewers kind of thought that I should listen to all of the albums. If I'm going to do a video, I should do the research and listen to all 20 albums. And I told him I don't have the time. Plus, I have chronic pain and I'm lucky to be doing what I'm doing. So here we go. And as always, I would love your thoughts on these albums. I probably haven't heard too many of them, but I love, these kind of lists, especially from Rolling Stone. Avenged Sevenfold. I've heard of the band, but I've never heard their music. City of Evil at 100. I've heard of this artist, but once again, never heard the music. I'm sorry. Don't get mad. Sun. I've heard of Sun O. Yeah, Sun O, I believe. Be interesting to see if I've heard any of these metal albums. Nope. This may be a short video. Dream Theater. Yeah. They're a band I've heard about, and I need to check out their music. I have not heard them. Images and Words. Is that one of their best albums? Let me know. Deaf Heaven. Sunbather. White Zombie I've heard of. Probably heard a song or two also. I Hate God. Nice. Take as Needed for Pain. Naked City, Torture Garden. These are real metal. Body Count. Yeah, I've heard of it. Nightwish, once. Lots of nudity on these album covers. Pig Destroyer. Man of War I've heard of. They have some pretty hilarious album covers. Hail to England. I hope there's some Black Sabbath in this list. Lamb of God I've heard of. So I should listen to all 100 of these albums before I do this video. I actually thought I would know more than I'm seeing so far. Dark Throne. High on Fire. Baroness. I haven't even heard of these bands. The Red Album. Entombed. Left Hand Path. Bathory. Under the Sign of the Black Mark. Ministry I've heard of. Yeah, they're pretty heavy. At the Gates, Slaughter of the Soul. Voivod, is that how you pronounce it? I believe they're Canadian. I know my buddy Maurice Gautreau is a fan. Nope. Yeah, of course. But when Twisted Sister was popular in the 80s, I had no interest in these hair metal bands. And Morbid Angel, I've heard of the band. Venom, I've heard of. Welcome to Hell. Scorpions, of course, I've heard of. Blackout. No. Yeah, I actually had that album. I wouldn't even, I don't know if you would consider that, sorry, heavy metal, but it's darn good music. Yeah. Cult of Personality was the big hit on that album. So I've heard of the album on this list. Death, Human. Love these album covers. Soundgarden, of course. Louder Than Love. Yeah, I was never a fan of Marilyn Manson. Just, I guess, a couple of songs maybe early on, but then he overstayed his time, I guess. Queensryche, I've heard of. As you can see, I'm really not a metal fan. Yeah, Faith No More. I had the album before Angel Dust, which I really liked. And they did a version of Black Sabbath's War Pigs, which was excellent. So, good band. Godflesh. Sodom. Sleep. Jerusalem. Converge. Melvins I've heard of. I know my oldest son, I don't know if he's still a fan, but he was a fan at one point. Bullhead. I didn't know they were heavy metal. Napalm Death. Life of Agony. Such uplift. I guess you're not supposed to have uplifting album titles when it's heavy metal. Emperor. The Dillinger Escape Plan. Opeth, yeah, I've heard of. I believe I've done at least one or two reactions on Patreon also. I didn't mind them. It would depend on the song, but when it was like the screaming, like the death metal screaming, I wasn't really a fan of that. Helmet, I've heard of. There better be some Black Sabbath or Motorhead on this list. Typo Negative. Yeah, Def Leppard, are they heavy metal? Maybe early on they were. Yeah. I like some of their songs. Carcass. I'm afraid to load more. Slipknot I've heard of, just never had an interest in listening to them. Rainbow, yep, with Richie Blackmore. Slayer. Mastodon. Never heard of these bands here. Motley Crue, yeah, never a fan of Motley Crue. Judas Priest, yeah, they're still going strong today. I listened to some of their new album. It sounded pretty good. Stained Glass. Diamond Head, I've heard of the band. No. Mayhem. Pantera, I've heard of. Far Beyond Driven, is that one of their best albums? Iron Maiden, Power Slave, yeah. I've heard the album. It's good. There we go, Black Sabbath, but of course, I'm more of a fan of the Ozzy years, but I have heard Heaven and Hell, and it is a very good album. Van Halen, Women and Children First. I just, My favorite album of theirs is their debut, but at least I'm noticing some albums I know. Metallica, Kill 'Em All. I respect Metallica. Not a big fan, but I've heard the album. Yes, big fan of Black Sabbath. Nice to see them on the list at number 34. Hopefully some more. Megadeth, Countdown to Extinction. Yes, probably, yeah, I think that is my favorite Black Sabbath album, Sabotage. Hoping to see some Motorhead on here. Slayer, Korn, I've heard that. Celtic Frost, I've heard of the band. System of a Down, heard some of their music. They're pretty good. Alice in Chains, I've been doing some song reactions on Patreon, liking what I hear. Metallica, yeah, I had that back in the day. Rage Against the Machine. Yeah. Danzig. I've heard of this band, but not the music, which might be a good thing. Not a fan of Motley Crue, as I mentioned. Metallica and Justice for All. The album with hardly any bass or no bass. Top 20. Anthrax. Among the Living. Yeah, I'd be interested for the heavy metal fans out there if you agree with, the top 10 or 20. Or what's missing. There should be more Black Sabbath. And where's Motorhead? Megadeth, Rust in Peace, I've heard. Tool for Morse Go Tro. Yeah, very good band. I like Tool. Merciful Fate. Dio, Holy Diver. Ozzy. Yeah, I never really had an interest in Ozzy's solo career. I heard, of course, some of the albums and songs, but I just love him and Black Sabbath. Yes, more Black Sabbath, Volume 4. Iron Maiden, their first album. Yeah, I actually had that album years on vinyl, Screaming for Vengeance. Metallica, Ride the Lightning, I've heard. Top 10, here we go. Pantera, Vulgar Display of Power. Yep, Blizzard of Oz. Megadeth, Peace Sells, but Who's Buying? I've heard the album. There we go, Motorhead, No Remorse. They should have at least, 2 or 3 Motorhead albums on this list. Slayer, Rain in Blood. Yeah, good. Black Sabbath, their debut album. But Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, if that's not on the list, I'll be very surprised and disappointed. Iron Maiden, The Number of the Beast, I've heard that album. Number 3, British Steel, Judas Priest. Trying to think what number 1 would be. It should be a Black Sabbath album. Or Metallica. Master of Puppets. I had that on vinyl back in the day. Number 1. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Paranoid, Black Sabbath. So, yeah, I don't know too many heavy metal albums, but like I said, it's I enjoy these lists. I go through, even before when I wasn't making videos, I would go through these kind of lists and check them out and then go and listen to all 100 heavy metal albums. But yeah, I would love your thoughts on this top 100. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.